Go on, you go first.
Hi everyone, I'm Rob from the NYH podcast, and thanks for joining us today. This video, and Ash has already lost it already.
I can't. It's too serious.
It's professionalism. That's what that is. You know, I've done 10 podcasts.
And I'm Ashley Francis from Bricklayers Social Club, and this is Bricklayers TV, I suppose.
It's going to be available on Sky. It's going to cost you £7 extra a month, and you get to watch all the pre-season bricklaying games.
And our guest tonight is going to be Dean Neal.
I should stay in that because that'd be funny to watch that back.
Yeah, I started to carry on going with it. It's quite good.
I'll stop recording.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, company cars all sold off, but then the flip coin, I've gone back on the trail, and that's ridiculous. Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah. I've got a decision to make, lads. In the next 2-3 months, like, I'm getting so much work coming. Because what I used to run. We used to have about 15 bricklayers, 18 bricklayers. Really good little company, really tight firm it was. Literally, once you come in, you didn't leave. We had really good relationship. And the last recession in 2009, we all just departed. The old boys were getting old, decided to call it a day, semi-retire. But now it's like all my old contacts are coming back. You want me to do work. I got offered last week. I got offered a plot of 25 houses, new build, the week before school, and I'm just trying to concentrate on what I like doing, what I like call meaningful work, thinking work, Yeah. I don't want to go down the road of knocking out houses. But when I was contracting before, we was getting direct around about £550, £600 £1,000. And nowadays I'm getting around about £850, £900 £1,000.
Yeah, the money's really good at the minute.
It's incredible.
There's no better trade to have at the moment, is there?
No, you know what I mean? And you just think like to yourself, but it's like I've been in the freezer for 10 years, because all I've done for the last 10, 12 years is helped friends, families out, gone on a chat with a few pals, built, kept my eye in. Because I love bricklaying. I don't just do it for the money. I love bricklaying. And I've been in the freezer, and like, it's just changed so much, like working with. And the hardest thing is for me to change with that. Because
stuck in your own ways, old ways.
Mate, I'm 42. I feel like I'm 62. Like, I monitor and sort of have a go at these boys, and I'm just like, I've got to let it go, because how they do their stuff is their way. It's different to what I was doing. But yeah, so yeah, cheers guys.
Cheers.
We're all on squash.
Yeah.
Do you nick that glass from that bar we were in that day?
Yeah. I'm murder, mate. I take souvenirs. Listen, I live like I've got £1.50 in my pocket. I'm murder. And I'm quite well off, like, on paper. But it's just in me, where I come from in London, like, you're ducking and diving, trying to survive, and I'm murder. But I'm getting better as I get older.
But that's our question, Dean, is who is Dean Neal? You tell us, who is Dean Neal? Because you're a goalkeeper, you're a bricklayer, you're this YouTube sensation that's up and coming that all these bricklayers are loving. So who is Dean?
Do you want to be truthful with you, mate? I'm an out-and-out bricklayer. I'm a disciplinarian, I'm old school, I'm a taskmaster, I'm a workhorse. And the reason football didn't work out for me in the first place was because of my attitude. I'm not shy admitting that, my idea of a night out was go out, pull a bird and have a fight and get up and go to work the next day. Do you know what I mean? And I think the environment I was in, learning the trail, that was how it was. You was one of the lads. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then trying to be professional is really hard for me. Like, if you watch my Instagram, like 1 minute I'm playing the back because that's me, but the next minute I'm doing a serious tutorial. I'm speaking truth and good knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like they say, once you're a bricklayer, you are a bricklayer. I think there's no getting away from that fact. You know, the football, as to be honest with you, 10, 12 years ago, the game was getting a little bit like it is now. I'm not putting anyone down. This is my opinion. It was the older generation I was wrapped around started to retire, started getting a bit old. They was falling off. And there was no new ones coming. And what new ones were coming through just didn't want to work the same way. You know, my ethic was, how I was taught, was go home with a clear head. Done a good job, you know, with your £100 or £300. There's nothing worse than laying in bed as a chancer thinking, oh, Jesus, am I going to get away with that tomorrow? Or, you know, is that good enough? And
the sad thing is what there's a lot of people now that are chancing it out there, churning out absolute crap. Yeah. Not even thinking about it, having a sound night's sleep and then getting up and going to work the next day, doing it all the same again and getting paid for it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm doing a big thing at the minute. We're trying to film it at the same time within the schools, because what they do at schools, right? If you're struggling, they call it LD, learning development. If you're not academic clever or you're messing around a lot, do you know what they do to you? They put you on a bricklaying course. So the bricklaying course, it's all the shit, right? So if you've got 10 lads there who are put there because they're naughty or whatever, you might have one lad there who wants to be there.
Yeah.
Now, his learning is compromised because the other 9 don't want to be there. They just got to be there. They're messing around. So I've seen the quality just change so much. Yeah. And I don't think it's a physical thing. I think it's a psychological thing. They don't think the same way. They're not bred the same way. So, like, if you go to a bricklaying college now, right, I'll tell you a little secret. About 4 months ago, a couple of investors come to me and approached me. Said, Dean, we've got this idea. We want to do a bricklaying college and we want you to run it, right? So I went out to sit down and talk with them. And before I even started, I said, look, the wage for a bricklaying tutor is about 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
Now, if you're worth any source, right, why are you going to work for 30 grand a year as a bricklaying tutor? Yeah. Unless you've got a major injury or something and you love it, because you could probably write a book or go on YouTube and earn that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then the tops who's teaching the bottom are not really that qualified. So the message being passed on and the techniques is not really what it should be. And they've sandwiched all this learning qualification into 2 years.
Yeah.
Where you know yourself, when a bricklayer improver comes on job, yeah, I've just got my ticket. And it's like they're laying 2 thick beds, they're all cack-handed, and you think to yourself, like, what the fuck are they doing at these colleges?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But to get that next generation, it's got to start from the top. They've got to invest in the top teachers, you know, and by getting the top teachers, you'll attract the top students, because that student want to learn bricklaying because he looks up to you because you're an idol or a role model, should we say? And it's strange. But if I was to say who is Dean Neal, I work very hard in my football, being professional. But you know, when I went back into full-time football, I'll tell you, talk about mental health. I tell you what, I lost my identity. Because you get up on the job, you're running men, you're in charge of multi-million-pound projects, setting out, thinking work, the banter, you know, the awkward conversations with money or someone's work's not up to scratch. Then all of a sudden you come away and you're not in that environment anymore. You're in a complete different environment where if you say something out of term, you can be sacked. Yeah. If you act differently, you can be sacked. You know, it was so strange. It took me probably 18 months to to sort of adapt. But yeah, so now the plans are, I'm happy going with the flow. I'm teaching my boy, my youngest. My other one signed up for the army, so he's going to go do bricklaying in the army.
Yeah.
My youngest one, he's got it. He's got it. You know, I've been brutal. I've taught him the odd first. We weren't able to pick the trail up. He's had to master loading that. You know, the muck gauges, setting out, clearing up, and now he's getting a bit of trail time, and he's got it. You know, I'm always teaching him, like, best thing I got taught when I was younger was the pen's mightier than the sword. I used to work with a bricklayer called Gary. He's honestly one of the best shows I've ever worked with. And he used to say to me all the time, we used to go to a job, he'd go, Dean, watch, we've passed the job, right? He'd go, I'll get us another 4 or 5 grand out of this. And I'd go, what, like, what you want? You know, watch. And he would. All the extras, you know, all this bit, the cutting, all this, that. It was amazing to watch. It was unbelievable. The knowledge of the man, he was like a walking Google. It's so knowledgeable, you know. But yeah, I mean, coming to him, I'll tell you a short story. It was when we started, he was doing bits. My boy said, Dad, I'm going to set up a YouTube channel. I said, set up. I said, who watches bricklaying on YouTube? He went, no, Daddy, I watch. And he showed me Charlie, Stuart, Rob, and who's the other one? Adam, Tricky Brickies. And I looked at him and I thought, fucking hell, what is going on here? So I said, yeah, go on in, go do. Do you know what? Last month he took £400 from YouTube.
Really?
He's only got 5,000 subscribers, but the views and the comments, the interaction we get is just good.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about the comments and the interaction of people. But it just goes to show that it does work. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
But do you know what? I mean, I looked at it as a whole, right? And see, what I've done for 4 years, I was a coach educator in Spain for the Spanish Federation. It's a flight to Spain. I used to do 4 days out there, 5 days here. So I'm very clued up at teaching methods and ways someone comes across. And I looked at them four big guns on YouTube, and I thought 2 of them are like sleeping tablets. Really good, but God, blimey, I've fallen asleep after 5 minutes. The other 2 were funny, but not as good as the other 2. So I said, well, let's just be ourselves on it. But I said, I want to do a channel what's real. I want to do real everyday events, variation of different. You look at my channel, there's no one job the same. Variation, getting over bad bits, even producing not the best work. Like, we've done a garage conversion, and I looked at it, and we had a lot of problems, but I didn't film. And I said to my boy, I said, listen, son, not everything's textbook. Sometimes you've just got to get around what you've got to get around. Put the video up, you know, and a few people said, it looks rough, it looks this. But then what it does, it shows the normal bricklayer that some jobs, no matter what you do, it's not going to be $1 million. You're governed by what you've got.
Definitely.
The contractor should have dug a foot in at the bottom. He didn't. Instead, I'm putting a split course in, because the awkward conversation was, look, you've booked me here. You know, you've got to poke me to be here. And he said, well, can't you do a split? So I said, I'll do a split, but on your red be it. So then people are putting it, it's good because it creates a good talking point, and that's real learning. It's not, I haven't put a slab in my back garden and building a twisted pier, you know. It's real life, it's on work, it's on jobs, you know. But yeah, it's so do you know what, I'll be honest, I love it. On Instagram, I watch people's videos, we all interact, you know, with different each other. Everyone sends me, and the amount of messages I get from anything from 20-year-olds to 65-year-olds. What 65-year-olds on Instagram? I've just joined, you know what I mean? And they're really cool, you know. We have really good conversations. But what's happening now is it's taking up so much time replying to them all.
Yeah. You can, if you allow yourself, you can lose 2-3 hours a day from just being sat on messages. And it's amazing, and it's an amazing feeling that people are buying into what you're all about and your values and everything like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to step back from it all and say, I actually need to build this wall here, or whatever you build it.
Yeah.
I need to crack on with this, and I'll come back with that. I'll come back to all that later.
Well, do you know what? What I do is save typing our voice note.
Yeah.
And then people reply back and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe your voice note replied. Thank you so much. I weren't expecting that." And I'm like, I got stopped yesterday twice in the builder's yard. I've been bibbed at in vans, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I looked at it and I just think, because I'm just being normal every day, people can relate to it.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm just honest, just being honest, just trying to do a job, understanding what I'm doing, respecting what I'm doing. And I think that might be. But my key is, I want to be the first bricklayer to get 1 million views on YouTube.
That's the end goal at the minute.
Wouldn't that be nice, eh?
And then when you get to that, you can go for the first one to be 1.5, and so on and so forth. It's all about setting goals, achieving them, and then moving to the next level of what you want to do.
Yeah,
just not let one in.
Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, at first, one of the other YouTubers got a little bit fruity, and I thought, what's the matter with the geezer? What's his problem? So I phoned him up and had a few words with him, and I said, listen, I'll be fucking down your job tomorrow. You don't know. And he was like, I said, be careful what you say, son. Because I don't come from that world. And nowadays, you have to be careful because they type.
Yeah.
And I've been banned. You know what? I've just come off a ban on Facebook for 4 days because I've had a rab a geezer. So you've got to keep professional. But at the end of the day, that is being me by saying, "What mind your own work. Who cares? Don't watch my stuff if you don't like it. Good luck for yourself. Carry on." But so
it's a strange world we live in nowadays. Look all that in the news today about Raheem Sterling and everybody like that. People have actually been arrested for it now. All the racial abuse that they got after the Euros, missing penalties. The police have actually been and arrested 11 people for it, which is good. But it just goes to show that people think because they can sit behind a screen on the phone or a laptop or whatever, and they think they can write what they want, but they can't.
I tell you what, if I see Rashford and Sterling, I'd say to them, you want to try posting something on the Facebook Bricklaying forum. You know what I mean? You think you've got to stick off this, mate? You fucking put something on there.
Yeah.
They're on you, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But, listen, everyone's entitled. Right, I'll tell you what this comes from. Now, I'm big on this. Right. I'm old school, right? And I'm going to tell you, this is the adaptation in life. We used to have a thing called vertical living, right? Vertical living is where you have leaders.
Okay.
You respect the leaders. So, for example, if you was in a gym, you wouldn't wear a fucking vest unless you had the shape, right? Yeah. At football, what the captain says, it goes. At bricklaying, if the good trail's there laying and he needs muck, you go get him muck. You listen to what he says, right? Teachers, you listen to what the teacher says. If the teacher told you to be quiet, you was quiet. If the old Bill felt your collar, you shit yourself because you thought you was in trouble.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we live in horizontal living. There's no respect for leaders. There's no leadership skills. So authority is challenged. If you get arrested, they're getting their phones out and filming it.
Yeah.
If a teacher says, don't do that, they're saying, why? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
If a bricklayer does it when he's a bit of muck, the boy next to him will go, right, get it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have. And it's the same in football. And this horizontal living has to change. Although it's quite chauvinistic, it was a better world when we was living in that pecking order as such. And the way it is now, the social medias give everyone a platform to make a comment and pass judgment on someone else when I come from a world where, for example, I'm a sprinter, right? If a sprinter's running 10 seconds and I'm running 16, I don't comment unless it's good. You know, I'll say, how'd you get to 10 now? Can you show me? I wouldn't say, you on steroids, you're cheating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have in today's society, the horizontal living. We need to get back to leadership roles, because leaders, from a leader becomes an idol. People look up to that. People aspire to be that person. It creates activity, generations. Do you know what I mean? The next number 10 striker, or the next good bricklayer, the next subby, or whatever. And I just think nowadays, everything's like, pretty much like you say, there's some bricklayers, I'm going back to my own game, some bricklayers on YouTube who I think, you know, I'd like to go and work them for the day, you know, because it looks good, but it's not what it should be. So, but I wouldn't comment on that. That's their business, that's their life, you know. And I think with this mental health thing, what you're saying is very interesting. It's a big market now. People have cottoned onto it. There is mental health issues, 110%. There has been for hundreds of years. And now we have the infrastructure to recognise illnesses. However, there is a lot, I think, still playing on it, you know, for personal and financial gain. I'll tell you a story, and if my boy was sitting here, so a tax man wound me up. I owe £4,000 in taxes, right? Blah, blah, blah. He said to me, this, that, and I just said, I'm feeling really anxious with this phone call. It all just completely flipped, you know, and I just think to myself, well, the problem we have in today's world, things are manipulated, you know. The honesty is near enough gone, you know, and it's such a shame. And going back to the work, like I say, you'll go home, you want to know, it doesn't matter if you're working for John, Terry, or whoever. You turn out a good job, the best you can. If you do a mistake, you put your hands up, you go take it down or redo it. But now it's manipulated. It's not, it's this. And that's what I'm noticing with bricklayers now. When was it? Last August, on the line with a guy. Went back with an old mate, and 24 bricks in the line. And I'm laying 16. And he's laying 8. And I said to my mate, is he for real? Like, I've been in the freezer for 10 years. He's like, Dean, that's how it is now. It's just changed, you know. And I'm not the fastest, Trail. But yeah, it's just how the world's going. And I think a lot of it comes from the schooling, the parenting and stuff, and the environments, you know. I mean, the school projects I'm doing at the moment, why, if someone is good at maths and science and shows an interest in bricklaying, why are they not taught to go and learn the trade? Because the amount of money they can earn. They're earning doctor's money at the minute.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we've got lads that are working with us that are on 100 grand a year, easily.
Yeah. So why are they not encouraged to go down that? We've got a shortage of bricklayers, you know. Why are they not encouraged to go down that route? You know, it's just.
I think it's looked upon as it like you were talking about earlier, Dean, that the naughty kids get sent down there. That's what the naughty kids go and do.
Yeah.
When really you do need a brain to do what we do, and I think you have to be a certain type of person to be a bricklayer, don't you? A certain breed. But if you've got a brain, then you can make it so much easier for yourself, because you'll learn the tips and tricks and the rhythm and the calculations, and think, right, well, this is this dimension, I've got to tape up however high or whatever it is. And if you're figuring it out quick, you can then go tell the labourer, right, I need 350 brick over there, 120 block down there, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can be days ahead of yourself, and all you're literally doing is laying and earning the money to do it that way. But because it's got such a not a stigma, that's not the right word, but it's got this persona around it that if you go into the building trade, and especially wet trades, bricklaying, plastering, all that sort of stuff, you are the naughty kid in school. You are the kid that left with no qualifications. You are the kid that got into trouble with the police when you were younger. When in reality, like you said before, they're earning doctor's money. Like we've got a couple of Irish boys that I work with that have just come back from America, and they said well, they call them masons over there. He says if you're a mason over in New York and Chicago and places like that, it's classed as a middle class job. It's really highly thought of over there. Whereas here, you're just a rough ass bricklayer.
Yeah. And you know what? What I like to do, and my goal is to encourage. I'm always trying to motivate the youngsters coming through, you know. And even I've shook some bricklayers up, some messages that have sent me. I said, listen, remember who you are. You fucking studied for this. You've worked hard for like your younger years. Remember what trade you're in and who you are. You know, don't take shit off these people. And a few people sent messages, you know, a really nice one saying, "Oh, do you know what? I've been stuck in a rut and you've just absolutely lifted me out."
Yeah.
And there's one guy who was like, "Oh, I've had a massive drinking problem. My missus left me," and he said, "Do you know what? I've realised who I am and what I do. It's lovely to hear."
Yeah.
And that's what. And you know what? What you said there, the stigma, is right. But let's flip the coin. Isn't that down to the individual?
Yeah. That's another good point, that people think, oh, I can only achieve this and I can only achieve that. I messed around and I didn't do well in school, so that's what I've got to do because that's what everybody says. And then the whole trades have this, not just bricklaying, but trades in general have this image that, again, going back to it's the naughty kids, when it's not really the naughty kids. It's people that have certain skill set to do this job, because I think you can't. So when I was in college, I left college in 2003, my apprenticeship. I finished my apprenticeship in 2003. There was a lad in my class, Rick. He building stuff, he was shit. He was crap. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do any of this stuff. But in the classroom side of things, he was great. He blew everybody else out of the water. So he got the qualification.
Yeah.
He got his level 3 in bricklaying. He scraped through doing the practical side of it. But because he smashed all the coursework, and then he aced the final exam, the written exam, he got his gold card. And it just goes to show that I don't think you need to. No, you need to have a certain set of skills to do this job. I'm not particularly academically amazing, but I can sit and look at a piece of land or a house or a building or whatever and say, if we do this, and this, we can achieve this, and this.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that you can have, you can be one of those people that come from not being well behaved in school and not doing very well academically, but you can still achieve things with your life, going down the route of bricklaying or in the building trade in general.
What I was saying, you know, when you say like it's frowned upon, the rough ass bricklayer, that, and it is, right? But let's flip the coin. The bricklaying individual, why are they not walking shoulders back, chest down? Why are they letting people cast you that? Do you see what I'm saying? So, like me, for example, I take great pride in what I do and who I am, right? And I'll tell people, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, they don't have enough self-confidence and they believe that they are the rough-ass bricklayer. They believe they're in a dead-end job, you know? And that belief needs to come from in oneself with confidence.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get that confidence? We get that confidence by enjoying what we do and turning out good work and listen to compliments, you know, because at the end of the day, if someone's telling you you're good, you're going to become confident. And I think it comes down to a society thing, like we were saying. Also, the individual. Now, the school teachers, right, he's no good. Could put him on the bricklaying course. We want to teach someone to be a geography teacher. Like, be a geography teacher, mate, but I earn your wage, your yearly wage, in the first 3-4 months or 6 months of the year. So how is he left in charge to make that decision, to give that to a kid? You know, I was overseeing some reports, some coach reports, when players have their 6 monthly reviews, and the coach sits down with the player and the parent or whatever, and you give a report. And I had to monitor the report to make sure that his report was deemed to be
true.
Yeah. So he made a comment of this lad's feet work. He went in with positives first, which was good. Then he went in with a negative about his feet work, and he said his feet work's not up to academy scratch. We'd like to work on it, blah, blah, blah. So after the meeting, I said, you made a comment about his feet were not up to academy scratch. How do you know that? And he went, well, look, and I said, have you seen every player in the academy system in England? And he laughed. He went, no. I said, so how have you made that comment? Because you can only make that comment if you've seen every player. Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
You can't make these thrusting comments, because that lad will take that home and go, oh my God, my feet work's not up to scratch in the whole academy system. I need to work. So as an individual, we listen to people we respect. So that head of year is putting that boy, he's no good. So who's letting these people make these decisions? Yeah. So it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. There needs to be like it could be a head of construction teacher at every school that does all the trades. And he sits down with the pupils, you know, and they all do a little bit through year 7 and year 8. Anyone who signs a little, do you know what I mean, who makes it a promise, they should be spoke about, the gains. Because when I was younger, what made me go into it was when I went and worked with my mate's old man. Him and his mate, they were geezers. They were nicely dressed, nice motors, lovely missuses, lived in a nice little 2-3 bed terraced house in London, but they had everything. They was happy. And I looked at that and I thought, do you know what? If I get that, I'd die an happy man.
Yeah.
Their missus were weldies. They had lovely kids. They had a car each. He was happy. Like, shit, do you know what I mean? And I thought, if he's on 40, 50 grand a year, I'm happy at that. So I'm going to aim for that 50 grand. But it's not reflected. And it needs to be reflected in society. But first of all, I think we need to motivate and encourage the learners to feel that they are good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much of a... And then there's a lot of people passing judgment. Like you say, you put something up on Facebook, fuck mate, honestly. People come out...
Don't do it.
No.
That's why we've got Bricklayers Social Club now. It's to try and come away from that Facebook vibe of posting stuff or asking the questions to bricklayers, trying to get that advice, to try and help your confidence, to try and move forward.
Yeah.
Instead of getting both barrels from someone.
100%.
And that is what I've done with this. Everything you're saying, I agree with pretty much. And it's all a good bricklayer is confident. That's what they are. Yeah. Confidence is hand in hand being a bricklayer. If you haven't got confidence, you'll never be able to lay bricks properly.
No,
you've got to exactly. You've got to have that confidence.
But do you know what? Oh, right. Let's have it right. Right now, that bricklayer's worldwide on Facebook. Andy Pidgeot or whatever. And who's the other guy? Gaz.
Keith Buffington. Oh, Gaz Drury.
Right. Gaz Drury's why I got banned. Right. The fucking limp. Right. He come up and said something to me on a comment. Right. And I replied, I said, at what point do you think you can sit at a table with me commenting like that? Get back there. A lot of negativity comes in. What do? We fucking chuck them out.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they want numbers. They want bums on the seats to look good on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look at the reputation they've got for their group.
Yeah. I know, terrible. And with Bricklayers Social Club, I think I said it as four simple bricklaying questions. Unless you answer them 4 questions, like one of them is what's gauge for 11 course of brick, what's the indentation on a brick called, or known as, and what do you call what's a traditional bond that's 3 courses of stretchers and then a header.
Yeah.
If you don't answer the questions, then you ain't coming in. It seems pretty like basic stuff, but the amount of people that don't care, don't answer the question, they don't join it. I've only got 1,400 people on Facebook in the Bricklayer Social Club talk. Has there been any grief on there? No. There's not been not one bad comment on there. Ever.
That's where you want, and then people will go there because it's genuine. Like, this is what I said before with the YouTube, the comments. They're starting to get a really good following on there. They're really good people. The way they comment, and it's constructive and helping others. And like I say, that when I speak to Andy next, I'm going to pull him. I'm going to say, look, tell that geezer, right, who are fucking fuming. Like, you can't run a group like that, just because of numbers. Manage it. Because if you're trying to help people come through, like we just said there, mucking around, cool, Sterling wants to try and post that on Facebook. Then he gets them stiff. But that's what it's got the reputation of now. Nobody wants to help. So people are scared to put stuff on there, and then some of them call it banter. And I think, no, mate, you're just bullying. You're bullying.
I was going to say to that I was going to ask you about that as well. Like, do you think the way banter's on site has changed? So I've said to a couple of lads at work when we've had apprentices on site, and that there's banter and then there's like taking it too far. And I've said to them, look, you're taking it too far there, boys. Yeah. And they've come back at me and tried having a go at me, but growing up on a building site with ginger hair, I've got pretty thick skin. But I said to him, look, you're taking it too far. And I think people can get like that as well, can't they? Where they think, oh, yeah, let's take the piss and have the banter. But you can be really doing damage to that person without them realising.
Yeah, I just, I topped out an ass about 2 months ago. And the chippy on there was his labourer. He was old. He was about 30 of the labourer. And he was one, I took him to Spain, threw his clothes in the water, fucking wrapped him up. He's got half his ear hanging off because they pushed him into something and all that. And he's telling me and laughing. And I went, not funny, mate. And he went, oh, no. I said, no. I said, listen, I'm king of banter. Have a laugh. I said, that's fucking bullying.
Yeah, like liberties, isn't it?
Yeah, and he went, no. I said, no, I'm telling you, that's bullying. And it was an awkward conversation. My boy was standing behind me doing the old boot look because he thought he was going to go off, looking down at his shoes. And I said to my son, I said, listen, learn from that, son. Be a man. I said, you have a laugh. I said, but the people you can have a laugh with and people you got to be careful with, and that's, but, I'll tell you a story now, and I do get worried about this coming out because when I first went on Channel Learning, I had so many fights on site and I built a massive reputation. And I'm worried it coming out and it affecting me and how I'm coming across now. But everyone I had were bullies, and deserved it. I've had fights in Bond Street, Savile Row, on sites with fully grown men when I was like 21, 22. On the plus side, older bricklayers took me under their wing because of that. They liked me, do you know what I mean? And they really took time in a weird way to show me the ins and outs. Like some of them, because I grew up in homes and stuff, and some of them used to give me money and offer me, and I'd be like, no, they'll buy me meals and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that was in a good way, but in a bad way, it's not right to do that, what I was doing. But because I was the youngest person in the job, you had certain people want to manipulate that. Yeah. And really take the piss. And I wasn't about that. And it's really weird. Like a few people dropped comments in one of my previous videos, said, what did he say? He said about, he's mentioned saying, I thought, fucking hell, you'd only know that if you knew this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's part of history. It's part of, like, I work with bricklayers who talk out the side of their mouth. It was hard men, you know, and it's rubbed off on me, and I've become hard but fair, almost like a gentleman, you know. Like when I was learning, like, the bricklayer, one particular bricklayer, Simon, he'd work to the middle and then walk back to his corner. I'd be 6, 7 bricks shy. Every course, he'd done that. And I was like, you bastard, you make me like a right idiot here, do you know what I mean? Right? And then his corner would be up, mine would be up, line up, and I'd put a line up, and he'd work the middle and work back. Line up, he'd wrap back on me. Like, and like the foreman would be looking and everything. But I know what he was doing now. Now I'm older and wiser. Because guess what? A week later, he was 5 bricks in front. A month later, he was 3 bricks in front. 2 months, we were even Steven. You know, and they're not the characters who show much emotion. So he wasn't going to say that, but that's what he was doing to me in a certain way. And I've learned from that. And sometimes the teaching, that's the best teaching I had, because it was hard knocks, and it trained me for the rest of my career in the construction industry, working with different individuals, you know, and how they are. Not everyone's your friend.
No.
You got to be thick-skinned, and you got to get on, you know. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it again at the minute. And I'm enjoying the newfound life on Instagram. Like, I've made friends. I've got friends up north, like, who I've never met, who every morning send me a message to say morning. It's fucking mad. Like, one guy from Liverpool, he messaged me, first time. I replied back to him. I said, can you speak in English? I said, I need a translator. And he messaged back, oh, you knob and all so that. And it went on from there, and we just get on really well. Do you know what, right? About 2 months ago, I said, I've had a few little personal problems in my own life that I'm trying to sort out. So I've not been active for a bit. He was the first one to message me. He said, mate, here's my number. He said, ring me. We want to chat.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. Not even met the geezer.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And that's the positive side of social media. It's like the Bricklaying Social Club that brings it all together. And I try and tag as many to sort of open up to everyone else, you know?
Yeah. That's what it's all about. And it just goes to show you can be anywhere in the country, or whether you are up north or down where you boys are, and we're all the same people. We're all humans at the end of the day, and we all get on, and we all get each other because we're doing the same thing. We're all on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And I've had like pretty serious conversations with people at work, or even on here as well, and things like that. And then at the end of it, we've turned around to each other and said, right, dickhead, let's get on with work. But you've had that conversation with them, you got it off the chest, you made sure that they're all right, and you check in on them.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel that he's actually thinking about me. It gives them a sense of worth, and it builds, again, it goes back to building confidence in people, that you know that if you have a shit day, you can call on whoever and have the crack with them. It doesn't have to be a full-on, full-blown conversation. It can be just, had a shit day today. This, that, and the other, it's not quite worked out for me. And they can bounce ideas off each other. And Instagram seems to be a great place to build communities, to do that, to allow you to have that. And then once you do that, get it off your chest, you're good to go again. And you think, yeah, you know what? Actually, I feel a lot better for that. And a couple of people have like said stuff to me, and they've come back to me and said, I feel like a right dickhead for telling you that. I said, you don't have to feel like that. I said, do you feel better for doing it? They've all gone, like, you know what? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I was like, there you go. And it's true what they say. A problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah, 100%. Like D5 Construction on Insta. I think, what's his name? I don't know if you know his name.
Matt.
D5 Construction, is it?
Yeah, Matt.
He ain't been on for a while. When I messaged him, I said, what's happening? You're right. And he went, I've got COVID.
Yeah.
And I gave him some advice, you know, my mate told me, because he had COVID really bad. And he was like, yeah, all right, cheers, mate. And a few days later, he perked up a bit. He was like, I really appreciate that. And I said, no, don't be silly. It's all right. Do you know what I mean? And it's good. That's the good thing. And do you know what, right? This is on that bricklaying Instagram, you get people saying, go and follow this bricklayer. He's like the traditional bricklayer. He's a really good fellow, turns out good work, right? You never get that in football.
No.
It's so bitchy in football. And like in that Instagram thing, the positives, you do get, like we were saying earlier, the odd negative, but you get a lot of like, oh yeah, you go, and I think, bloody hell, like, because I'm like that. If you do, like, I priced a job the other day, I got asked to price a job. And I said in the messenger, I said, make sure you get Tommy Paul to price it, because he's a really good bricklayer. I know Tommy. We ran from my neck of the woods. And I posted it on social media. Just say, look, people, this is how you should be acting. You know, not like, oh, I'll go price it, I'll do it. It'd be like, because his name got mentioned, tagging it as well. So I said, I'll come around and quote, but also get Tommy to quote for it as well, you know? And I think that just a bit, honestly goes a long way.
I've noticed as well, you know, when you go and speak to customers or potential customers, I've said to them a couple of times, I can't do this. It's either been too big for me, and I'm not interested in big projects.
Yeah.
And I will recommend somebody that I know that can go and do it, or I'll say to them, look, I think you shouldn't do it like this. You should do it X, Y, and Z way. And again, that might not be something that I could do, but I can recommend somebody. I think it puts the customer at ease as well to say, like, all right, so that particular person can't do it, but he's giving me options of what I can do.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, yeah, I can do it, and then either flagging it or doing it wrong or whatever it might be.
That's knowing your craft. That's experience, and that's confidence.
Yeah.
To be able to do it, to be able to stand in front of a client and just, I don't know, whoever it is, say you're a one-man builder and someone's offered you a hospital, like you said earlier, school, sorry. But you, at the moment, you can't get bricklayers for love nor money. You can't facilitate building that kind of job. But you know that your mate down the road, he's got 4 trowels, he's got a couple vans or whatever. Do you know what? This guy can do it. Maybe you shouldn't do it like this, etc., etc. And you're just talking to them, and it's you've almost won them already. They want you to build it because you've given them all the information that they need. But then you've actually passed it on to someone else. I mean, I just got offered a plot of 4 houses. I mentioned the other week that I wanted to go back by myself. I'm not in a position to do that at the moment. I'm still waiting for an operation on my shoulder. That set up a young lad who's just kind of served his time, who wants to get himself going. Plot of 4, it's not a bad little starter. So a young lad that who was working for me out in the city, who's now gone by himself, I've given it to him, and I'm hoping it's going to set him up now. He's going to learn from it. It's not going to be easy. He said, "Oh, you're going to do it with me. You're going to help me." And I said, "I'll help you. I'll be on the other end of the phone if you need me, but I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to build it with you. I'm not going to set it out with you. You know how to do all that. You've done it all with me. Here's your opportunity. What you do, it's up to you." And it's from there he's got to build his confidence.
That's like on that since that YouTube channel's gone up, my takeover jobs have gone up about 30-40%.
Right.
Where people watch and I think they look and they go, our guy's not doing anything like that. and the wife must go, I want this guy or whatever. And I go in and honestly, and you know what I do? I show bits of work, but I don't slate it.
No.
I show a bit, go, look at this, you know, this has been done, but we need to be doing this. I don't go in and go, oh my God, and film it and go, this, that.
Yeah.
It's the wrong thing to do, but like, it is frustrating because you go in there and sometimes I lose the plot. Like on one job, I had to go home early And my boy was like, Dad, right? I said, son, listen, I'm an educated man. I'd done all this stuff, working like this, awkwardly, when I was 18, 19. I said, I need to work other people's shit because they've got it wrong. The customers try to get it done cheap. They've made a mistake, and now I'm fucking working on my knees trying to put it right. Ain't happening. Went home, calmed down, went back next day, I was all right. But it does get to you because you're looking at work and you think, oh, it's non-stop. But you just take a breath and you think, right, I'm being paid good money, you know. I mean, I went down at, where was we? In Collier Row. There was some flats. A friend of a friend phoned me up, said, Dean, can you come down? I've shut the gang off, having problems with them. Need to just come in and troubleshoot it for me and see what I need to do. But so I said, I'm busy this week. He said, Dean, anything I can do to get you in Friday? And I said, well, I'm on a job. He said, I'm in desperate need of a... So I said, all right, let me see. So he rang me back Wednesday, any chance Friday. I said, it's looking all right. He said, Dean, I'll pay you £500 cash in your hand for the day. And I said, it's not about the money. It's lovely. I said, but I'm on a job at the minute where I'm talking to the client and I'm not going to let them down. I'm getting cups of teas and custard creams all day. Do you know what I mean? And I spoke to the client. I explained to her. I said, I'm going to go. If that's all right with you, I'll be back money. She's like, no, 100%. So I went there, right? And all the air bricks in the wrong place. The datums all over the place. Went through, and I managed to pour a few little flanks in as well over the weekend. The guys come back like, take the rest of the job over there. Take the rest of the job over this day. And I was like, I can't. It's just too busy. But in my own time, I went away and done him a spreadsheet and done him everything of all the problems, what he needs to do. So he's clued up on what has to be done and the costing of it all, and give it to him, like, you know. But yeah, it's I just think, like you say, listen, in anything that you do, if you're old build, please, there's always the one dishonest one. If you're a teacher, there's always one that don't care, just there for the money. Yeah. And this is what I'm trying to put across to the beginners of the bricklaying world, like, enjoy your work. Watch the video, the Garden Wall of a story I've done for the old boy.
With the honeycomb. Bond. Yeah.
Right. Honestly, that job, including materials, the whole wall, right, was 26 metres, right? We took down the old, went on the existing course to save money. That job, including materials, come in at £7,200. I earned about two and a half grand off that job.
Yeah.
Like, that was a 12 grand wall, 10 grand wall. But I went in there, and you know what? The geezer got me by the fucking arm. He'd lost his wife 3-4 years ago, right? I didn't say this on the video, but the daughter pulled me aside and said, look, he hasn't got long left. I've got the house. I'm not going to live in it. When he goes, I'm going to sell it. I don't want to spend thousands. I just want a quick wall. So then I was working one day and I said, Nicola, can I have a word? And she went, yeah. I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not happy. I said, your old man's 82 years old. He's on his own. Everything he's asked for, you've knocked back. I said, like, his garden's his life. He's out here every day with us. He's talking to all the people walking past. I said, whether you're going to sell this house or keep it, I said, the wall's going to help sell the house. I said, let me do a couple of features. And I said, 2 things in, Nick. I could quite easily say to you, get the materials and I'll do it for free. But I know you're going to lap that up. Yeah, so I know your purpose of selling this house. So I'm going to charge you. But I'm going to let you know my faults. Give me his little details. So that honeycomb walling, what it's going to do is let the natural lighting. It'll still talk to the neighbours. He's not enclosed. I said, if an evening that to go across the lawn, he'll love that. And then she phoned up that night and she said, yeah, I've been thinking you're right. And we done it. You know, I charged a day's money for it. But the thinking behind that job, the client, now, even the bricks we used, the one face side, the back side with them heathers, them LBCs, a rough look, but the common look on the rough side gave it the look.
Yeah.
His A-day was in the 80s. That was his A-day when he was flying. He probably had the new BMW and the missus and that, and life was good. And that environment has taken him back, you know. And there's so much, and I just think a lot of people need to look at that before they go in and money. Because if you enjoy what you do, you become good at what you do. When you become good at what you do, the money follows anyway.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, I was just about to say it's because you are happy in your work environment, and there's people that put stuff up on Instagram and stuff like that about going on about I want a Lamborghini and I want this, that, and the other. That's cool. That's really, really good if you want that, and there's absolutely nothing stopping you going for that. But what are you sacrificing to get that? Yeah. You're not seeing your kids. You're not around for your family. You're working yourself to death. And it's great that you have all these aspirations to get to that point. But what are the sacrifices that you're putting in place? And they're not understanding that. And because you are now at a stage in your life where you can understand that it's not all about the money.
No.
Money's good. Absolutely, we all need money because we've all got bills to pay and things like that. But you are doing
Bricklayers always seem to be broke.
Yeah, but you are doing it because you love the job. You understand people and you understand values of people. And what, like you said about the old boy, then he will absolutely lap it up. What you've done, and that's it. Things like that people don't understand, and somebody probably would have watched that video and not grasped that.
No, yeah,
and you don't get taught that type of stuff as well, and it comes from your own personality that comes out in that as well.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying, going back to the individual learning bricklaying. Like if I was to teach someone one of my new videos, we're taking notes at the minute. It's for the improvers, right? And I'm gonna say, right, this is what you need if you think of becoming a bricklayer. You're gonna get a level out and a trowel out, and I'm gonna go. Don't even fucking pick them up yet. Get on Google. Can you buy resilience? Can you buy confidence? Yeah. Can you buy strength, mental strength? Because this is what you're going to need, because this is what you're going to go through. And I'm going to talk about experiences, you know, before you even buy a level on a trowel, make sure that you've got the tools in the lockup personally to cope with the endeavours what will be coming your way. And I think if we get a good individual then who believes and loves their trade, then you'll go on and go on. But this is what I don't understand, right? First things first, never have a better car than a contracts manager. Right? Right? If you have, do not go to work in it, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is the sound I got brought up on, right? Never let the left hand know what the right hand's doing, right? And that's so true, because the people can be so envious and jealous. Now, if people keep, oh yeah, of course, 2,000 down a day, look at my video, how you earn £60 a minute or something, right? The world's going to cut onto it, and then the prices are going to be slashed.
Yeah,
they won't have you keep earning £600, £300 a day. So while they're using all these profiles, you're falling into this mould of getting them down. Let's look at the old. Look, this is the old subby thing, right? I'll give you £800 1,000, right? I turn up at the job at 3 o'clock. You're fucking all gone home, right? What's going on? They're earning too much money. When you send your invoice in, I'm going to have a little bit of divvy up with you. Say, look, you know, hopefully get you chucked off. You know, keep some retention back, and you go over your work till your work's crap. Pay you half your money. Get a new gang on there. Know that I'm not letting you earn £800 a bloody day. I'm going to suck my prices down a bit more. And that's what's going to happen, because it happened before in the 90s when I was coming through, and it happened again early 2000s.
Yeah.
If people keep, oh yeah, 1,000 a day, doing this, doing that, the prices are going to get frozen. Everyone's going to stick to the same, and they're going to come out and go, there'll be a little slash, and then let's see the ones, because say you're allowing 1,000 bricks a day earning £600 a day, right? A recession hits, right? I've put your prices down to 300 1,000. And you're not landing me 1,000, you're gone, because now there's 10 people after your job.
Yeah.
So all these people think they're clever, slashing out 1,000, 1,200 a day. They need to sort of have a look at the wider picture here, because there's a few of us at the moment. If we all stuck together and turned out a little bit more quality rather than quantity, the prices will hang on.
Yeah.
But
I've said this for, I mean, I'm not as old as you two. I mean, I'm nearly 30, not quite. I came through, I finished my apprenticeship when the recession in 2008, 2009 hit.
Yeah.
So it was a really shit time to be a bricklayer, to be fair, at that time. I think all went down to about 80 quid a day.
Yeah. I remember working for 65 quid a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If everyone keeps on doing these 1,000 bricks a day, I learnt my trade with a load of old boys, and I stay true to the trade. And I like to say, if they ever see this video, that they will say, yeah, well, we taught him well. They're all in their 60s now, late 50s. They never taught me to lay 1,000 bricks a day. They were never interested in 1,000 bricks a day. That was never a number to lay. It was always, you want to be hitting your 600, 700 mark, but they were pucker. That was a 700 really good brickwork.
Yeah.
And you'd be in the motor with them. I built that one. I built that one. I built that one. I built that one. Built that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember doing that as well. And they all have pride in their work. But I'm speaking out loud. These chaps that are out there slashing in 1,000, 1,200 brick a day, and they've all got really nice cars and that. Just wait. You wait, because if you haven't been through it already, you wait until it all comes tumbling down, and you've got to still carry on laying that 1,000 brick a day, but you're on 100 quid a day.
But the thing is, I watch some of them on YouTube, right? And half of them look like they're living in a fucking squat.
My passion is, I know what I love, I know what I do, I know what I'm about, and I don't share it. I can share it. I do share the odd bits with a few of the lads. I share pictures every now and then with bits and pieces that I've done. But my goal and ambition is to fulfill a legacy that all these bricklayers that do come through, they are getting shared around. They're getting a name for themselves. They're getting confident. The stigma, like we was going back to, the name of being a bricklayer, that you're proud, you do stand with your shoulders back. I am a bricklayer, and you know what? I'm proud to be that. I'm mustard. That is what I am. We are legends out there, and that's what I do. That's what Bricklayer Social Club's about. It is in a way patriotic as well. It's backing good British bricklayers, bricklaying on the whole, really, but supporting anything and everything that's brickwork related. And I can't do both. I can't do my brickwork and videos and all that, and then also maintain Bricklayer Social Club as well, for everyone to enjoy. Do you know
what you need? A teenage son like I've got.
You'll have to get busy, Ash.
She's trying to get a child out of me.
Oh, do you know what it is, right? Because they're born into the internet, and we wasn't. Right? Like, we had to learn it. Do you know what I mean? And it can be quite hard. Like, my boy Sammy, he's on it. You know, he don't get enough credit. Everything you see is what he's done.
Yeah.
You know, and I say on the thing, look, Sam, and I said to him, Sam, we've got to do a video of you laying bricks, because if I do a beginner video, you're ideal candidate, because you're beginning and you'll make the mistakes you do. And he's so good. Like, one of my other lads, he then set me up on TikTok, and I said, slow it down a bit here. Do you know what I mean? And I've took over the Instagram because I like to read and watch, you know. But he's done some amazing photos. Like, he puts it in a portrait mode. Like, the sun would be dropping, like when we was working late in the September time, the sun was dropping, you know, on the trail and in the background. It looks amazing. Like, you'd look at it and you'd go, fucking hell. Like, but what's good about that is wouldn't it be good if everyone sees him in the background, odding at the minute, and then start to see him on the trail?
Yeah,
and
the
as
progression.
years go on, I drop out, and he becomes a TTB. Then every now and then I make a cameo appearance, you know what I mean? And then drop that.
Yeah.
And he continues it, you know? And I mean, that'd be lovely, but of course that's got to be his dream as well, to become a bricklayer, which he does want to be. But it's, do you know what? I pay him £40 a day, right? Because I said, this son, it's about what you do. You're learning, right? And I've gone on sites and working on to lie about his age. And there's other people in 85, 90 a day, and he runs rings around them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I was an apprentice, I think it was 25 quid a day, something like that. But when you want to become a bricklayer, and it's everything that you want, and you know where the goal is, you know where you want to get to, and you're on what feels like a pittance. You're driven to graft and graft. You turn up every day, even if it's frozen. You turn up. If it's raining, you say, "Okay, I'll wait."
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If you've loaded out all the scaffold, all the spot boards loaded out, and you're standing over your gaffer's shoulder for the next hour watching him do everything, or you're cutting can I do the cuts for you? Can I set the lines up for you? All them little things, just constantly trying to learn and absorb it. That 25 quid, you should be paid less. Because what you're getting, because what he's showing you and what you're learning, it's worth a fortune. Because what you'll take from that for the next, say, 40, 30 years worth of laying, could create you a millionaire.
Well, this is what I said to him. I said to him, listen, son, I said, no governing body, no policeman's going to stop you taking 200 bricks home and practicing the backyard down at the land. And he's like, I said, well, it's up to you what you do. Because I homeschool him. He's 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
But basically, he does 8 lessons a week on Zoom of an evening. And then during the day, he works with me on training him up. So he's like, he's sort of like, look at me, so I didn't think of that. So I'll get your bag of line. Off you go. Practice every day. So if you practice an hour a day, while the evenings are light, that's good timing. By the time you're 18, you'll blow anyone out the water who's learning.
Yeah, definitely.
So he started to do that now on his own back. And that was the key decision. Let him make his own decision. Let him go out there. And I don't get involved.
Yeah, I watched a video you put up the other day of him. He was out practicing and he was making a mistake, I think, with his gauge. And you left him to it to learn the mistake.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's important as well that not to punish him's not the right word, but go out screaming and shouting at him.
Yeah.
Point out what they've done wrong, show them how to do it correctly, and then next time they'll know. Instead of screaming and shouting and swearing and kicking it down and losing your brand with them, it gets you nowhere with them.
That's the importance of learning. Development is whatever you do in life, whatever you're learning, development is about decision making, exercising that decision making. How do you recover from making the wrong decision?
Yeah.
How do you feel making the right decision? Get that in any stage of any job that you do, and you want a winner. Because if he built that, well, I can't do it. It's I'm terrible, blah blah blah. Then that's no good. Like, listen, you made the wrong decision. Analyze it, learn from it. We move forward, and
don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Again, it feeds into the confidence side of things as well. You're giving them the confidence. And if you've gone over there screaming and shouting, self-belief, that's the right word, Ash. If you go over there screaming and shouting at him, it'll just push him away, and they'll go into the shell and not want to do it because they don't want to make a mistake, because they don't want to be chastised for making a mistake.
I had a brick thrown at me. I just realised I didn't want that to happen again, so I didn't do it again.
That's what my boy said to me. We worked with his mate a few months ago. He said, what's it like working with a thing? And I went, Mike, I said, we was in a car in the morning, and I went, well, when I threatened to throw a brick at you, He went, yeah. I went, he doesn't threaten. And I watched him go, oh, God. Like, as it was, I let him stew on it for about half hour, do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, he went, he's actually all right. He was, like, helping me out. And I said, that's because you're working, son. If you're working and you're keen, all the old bricklayers will see that and they'll pass knowledge on to you. If you're an arsehole and lazy and a bit of a div, they won't even bother teaching you. Now, with teaching, you don't have one teacher as a bricklayer. You have several mentors throughout your life. So you've got to adapt to each different method that you're being taught. And that's the good thing about bricklaying. You don't really have just one teacher. I mean, if you have just one teacher, you're doing something wrong, because you've got to work in different varieties, variations and environments. And you've got to understand it. And that's the best way. Like, when I come out of my game when I was younger, they said, Dave, you've got to go. Yeah. I was like, go and get a start. You need to go and work on different environments. And they was like, you're too good on the odd. He's always going to use you on the odd. And he said, you're not going to get your chance here. Go. And I went and I made the phone calls and I was in and out of work. Then I settled. And then it all started from there. And I was saying about this self-confidence thing. That's why the teacher, like in football, you have to get the best out of your players. You have to respect you. And you have to motivate them. And that, paying someone 30 grand a year, 28 grand a year to teach that BTEC, I don't feel you're going to get the best. You know,
I've got a story about an ex-teacher, right? He taught in a college up in Manchester near where I live, and we were doing a job in York, and I got the engineer to set a meter mark all the way around the building, 1 meter above finished floor level. Then I went down and measured down 900 and put it for setting the damp course out everywhere. And this bricklayer, he had this gauging. He never had a tape with him. He always had this fucking gauging staff, right? And he gauged everything to the meter mark. And it takes a lot to wind me up, right? And I walked around there and I was like, what? Why? What? Something's not right here. You know, when you look at something and you can just tell instantly it's not right. And I taped it and I went, I'm not going to say his name. He'll never watch it. But I went, what have you done here? Why are you so high on gauge here? And I said, I put your datums everywhere. And he went, gets this fucking datum stuff out. He puts it on and he said, look, it's gauged that. I went, that's the fucking meter mark. When in this planet has brick gauge been a meter? So I got it and snapped it. And he went fucking mad at me. He went, I've had that ages. I went, well, it needs going to fucking bin. But he'd been a teacher for 15 years, teaching lads how to lay brick, and he couldn't even set to a dating point.
Oh, don't. It's a shame. It is. Listen, like we say, there is some good teachers out there, you know, and a lot of them have probably got injuries and can't work on site, so they love bricklaying, so they go and teach. But for me, there has to be, from the top, a syllabus, a blueprint set out, you know, someone in charge, someone good, you know, showing them not just the bricklayer, the academic side, the people skill, you know, and do it. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I just think going back to vertical living, the game needs leaders. It needs someone to take control, you know, instead of being held accountable because he said the wrong words or whatever, you know. And I think the infrastructure needs to be changed. And if it doesn't, we're going to have problems. And now's the time to do it, because we've come out the EU. A lot of foreigners are going home because it's not what it is. And I think now's the time to do it. And the recruitment. And I think if someone was to set up a really good nationalised bricklaying college online as well, I think you'd be very successful. You know, I'll probably get, I would say, easy between 5 and 6, between 5 and 8 inquiries a week about online coaching for bricklaying.
Really?
Yeah. One thing I won't do it is because I don't believe in it. There's only something you can do online. You've got to be there. Yeah. you know, hand
You got to feel the brick, haven't you?
Yeah, hand dye and stuff. You got to see up close what they're doing, you know. But is it better than nothing? Yeah. You know, could you do the academic work? Yeah. And then invite me in for a weekend, you know, every second week or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a massive market for it.
I think Rob Songer does that. He's got his own little college thing that he does.
I like Rob. He's a very good bricklayer, isn't he? He's
Rob's going to be doing this next with us.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Rob. When you speak to him next, tell him I followed him. He ain't followed me back, Wally.
Yeah, he was meant to be. Rob was meant to be on Monday with me and Rob.
Yeah,
but he's currently building some fancy fireplace somewhere. He was sending some pictures. He was sending me some pictures today. So he's going to come on next week. Should be on with us.
Yeah, tell him that on his fireplace, the peak of his arch is flattened. It's flattened out.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Say you spoke to Traditional Bricklayer and see he's pulled you on the you flat it out.
It's traditional bricklayer with 2 underscores, not 1.
That's it. Oh mate, don't even go there. But do you know what, right? That Rob, I like watching him. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him interact with the people more who's watching, instead of being one tone, because he's a wealthy bricklayer. He does some great jobs, you know. And
he gets slated for it as well, though. That's the problem. You see some of the people that give him shit, you're like, what?
Yeah, I know. But do you know what? When you get off the phone, right, this is how I learned. Because we at YouTube, with me football, and it's quite successful, the videos. I've got like 200,000-300,000 views on some of the football videos that I do. And my agent said to me, Dean, go and look at your favourite song on YouTube and see how many dislikes there are. So I went and typed in Fleetwood Mac, and I was like, oh my God, how could you not like this song?
Yeah.
And you just think, it's not just you. There's like Queen, all the top celebs out there. Everyone has. But yeah, if Rob was a bit more... Do you know what? It's the old story. David Beckham in Manchester, you know, David Beckham, wealthy, right? If Paul Scholes was better looking, he'd be richer.
Yeah, he would, yeah.
Because statistically, Paul Scholes wasn't absolute statistic, is a baller, you know. But if he was better looking and carried himself off, he would have been the one doing the underwear. But yeah, Rob, I love watching his work. We should interact more, ask questions to the people, the viewers, engage them, you know. And but another funny one who does that makes me laugh is Tricky. What's that? Tricky Brickies, Adam.
No, I've not seen that. What's Tricky Bricky?
Yeah, he's off his head. Honestly, he's like as high as a kite all the time. You've got to watch his channel. It's called the Tricky Brickies. Adam, his name is, right? And he goes live, right? And I got my inbox started filling up. So I got a link. So I went to his live thing. He's put an old granddad out on a scarf, and he's doing an impression of me, isn't he? It was so funny. And I sent him a message. I said, like, you're going to get it now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm waiting for my time. But he's just, watching the video, there's nothing special about him.
Yeah.
But you watch him, you just think, like, he's off his head. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, so it is what it is, isn't it? You know?
Dean, I don't think we're going to keep you much longer, but I think we've got two questions here. Because it's not always the glory of being a bricklayer. What's the biggest mistake you've made while being on the trail?
Funny one. Built a garage around the wrong way. No, in my defence, there's 3 sides to every story, right? Mine, theirs, and the truth. Remember, there's always 3 sides, right? Turned up, done a garage, right? You know the sloping, the slab, right? Lovely. Built it. But what they didn't say, it was the slab was been put in the wrong way. So I had to build it the wrong way around. So the governor I was doing it for ruined me, absolutely battered me. for doing it. But then when it come out to light, because I was saying the slope, I've gone. He said, "We should check the drawing." I said, "We're only for measurements." I said, "I've got to go to the slab, haven't I?" But the slab was put in wrong. But everyone took advantage of that and hammered me for it, for weeks. Like, whatever. In the end, I just didn't even answer. I just put my hand up and just said, yeah, like, that was it. But yeah.
Nice one.
And do you know who pulled it first? The person buying the house. When she explained to me the back of the house, the garden, I realised then it was back to front.
Yeah. Put that on the snagging list.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what's your what was it you said? Rob?
What's your biggest golden nugget or tip or that you could give somebody coming up through the ranks of being an apprenticeship or thinking about starting to get into bricklaying?
My tip would be research what you're doing.
Yeah.
Research what you're doing before you do anything and become the best you can be. What I mean by that is become the best you can be. Might not be as good as John or as Jim, but you are reaching your full potential the best you can be by putting every effort in what you can. The secret of bricklaying is when you go home, don't just go home and I've had hard day's work. Lovely. Go home and learn. Take 200 bricks, practice. Nowadays, you've got the facilities to watch on YouTube and stuff and learn and research bonds and really involve yourself, So the secret of learning there is not just on site, it's what you're doing off site. Yeah. I think that's important.
Well, who's the best bricklayer?
Who's the best bricklayer?
You meant to say me, cunt.
I tell you one who I'm really, really proud of, right, is Tommy Paul.
Yeah, no, to be fair, really good brickwork. Really,
do you know
really
what? I knew Tommy when he was 16, right?
Yeah.
And I said to my mate, that boy's got it. There was him, another one called Paul Barber. He's on Instagram as Barber Construction, I think. And another boy called Reese. And they were very good. And it was my mate who gave Tommy his apprenticeship. And let me tell you, my mate is ruthless. At 40 years old, right, on his birthday, at 3 o'clock, he took us down at the footing. We just topped out the first lift, took us down at the footing. We started the footing on his 40th birthday. He ruthless, right? And he taught Tommy. And Tommy sort of fell out of him. But I said to Tommy, listen, I know you fell out of him, but remember what he's taught you, lad. Yeah. Because, and Tommy now I live literally about 2 miles from Tommy. And what I like about Tommy is humble. Yeah. Very polite, very nice boy. And he's a really good, I think he's a really good bricklayer, Tommy. But yeah, I mean, should have said myself, but I'm not good at lying. Something.
No. So yeah, this is kind of finished now, Dean. Is there anything you want to? So we're going to edit this up a bit and kind of create it into some sort of video. We might add all of it. We might add bits of it, just to share with the bricklayers, really. Is there anything in there that you don't want us to share, or you're happy with everything? Yeah. And it basically what we're planning on doing, me and Rob, is getting an insight to all of you. You're an influential bricklayer. That's what you are. You're out there because you're sharing your story and your life day in, day out as a bricklayer. You're influential, and I want to share that to all the bricklayers that are out there that watch your videos, that can see another side to you, where we do have these kind of more in-depth conversations, and you're telling your story, and they can watch that and they can see that it isn't all glory. It's not easy, and that they've got They can learn from what you're saying. They can learn from what Rob's going to say.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we get Tommy on board, we've got a couple of other young lads who are going to come and do this chat with us as well, and we can all learn from it and all take bits and pieces from it.
Do you know what? With the Instagram, I wanted to show a bit of my private life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the point. The point of showing that is what I said earlier. I looked at these two bricklayers, see their houses, see their wives, see their cars and their life, and I thought, I want to be like that, because I didn't have much of a role model, and I thought, that's my role model. Do you know what I mean? And I think if I can show people, not only that I'm laying bricks, that I'm having a laugh, my private life, I'm sitting, chilling, doing what I'm doing. You show the youngsters, and they can think, like, do you know what? Everyone tells me at school, oh, you shouldn't do bricklaying, you should be a teacher or a solicitor. But if I look at him and think he's doing all right, why not? Do you know what I mean?
I've never had a Monday where I couldn't go to work.
Yeah,
no, never.
Even in the deepest, darkest recessions that I've been through, I've always had work. I always turn up for work when people ask me. Like, I've just started this little job for somebody this week, and it got to 8:30, and I rang the guy up, I'm like, where are you? And he's like, you're not starting till the 3rd. I'm like, it is the 3rd. You know what I mean? It's little things like that, and that I'm absolutely fine. He's left me to it and left me to build it. But when I priced the job for him, he said, I'll tooth it all out and I'll labour on you. He toothed it out. All they'd done is run the still saw through it and knock the brick out. So I've still got to clean it all up and labour. It's not that big of a job, but he's like, you'll be done for Friday. I'm like, no, I won't be done for Friday because I've had to do all this. So it's little things like that wind you up. But you just got to keep going, don't you? You just got to keep going.
But I remember when I was on the yard, engineering's up three lifts on a ladder, right?
Ugh.
By 9:30, I was gone.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a strong lad. And I was like, said to the other body, I said, is this for real? And he said, come off the bricks, go on the muck for a bit. I was like, what? So the muck was a little bit lighter, but it was all chipping down my neck. And I was bum, up, right? 1 o'clock, I said to the gap of Kurt, I said, my shoulder, it had all cut and like a burn. And my shirt was sticking to it. And I showed him, I thought he'd say, like, go home or go on the broom or something. He went, when you go down the pub tonight, take your top off and show the girls and tell me an odd carrier.
It's building character.
And I thought, fuck it now. So I had a few jars. Finally, old top was up. Fucking big burn. Fucking all out. Fucking running up and down the ladder. You felt like. And I remember my missus. She went to me, "You always falling asleep." I said, I'm on the concrete. She always falling. I bought one home for her, 6-inch concrete block. I said, hold that, love. See how. And she went, that's heavy. I said, we're having 400 or 500 of them a day.
Yeah,
that's why I'm falling asleep. But yeah, no, listen, great to talk to you guys. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. And yeah, send me a message when it's up, mate, and I'll share the granny out of it, like, you know, and seeing it. Lovely to meet you guys. Rob, what are you doing on Instagram as?
The MIH podcast.
MIH podcast, right. Do I follow you?
No, I don't think you do. I follow you.
Right. You just made the list, Rob. I'm going to follow you.
No, thank you very much.
I will have a conversation. I'll remind Rob Songer he needs to follow you.
Yeah. Rob, wait. He'll be up there sorting him out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Cheers. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time.
No worries. Good health, guys. See you later.
See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.